Putting yourself out there, that's a concept I've been hearing a lot lately. People telling you that if you want to succeed in your career, you must put yourself out there. If you want to build a brand of your own, you must put yourself out there. What does that even mean? That's what we're chatting about in today's video. Hello everybody, I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Mpho. I'm a CA, and over here we chat all things property, business, careers, and sometimes a little bit about life. Today's chat is like a life/careers type of conversation, or even business, because we are talking about putting yourself out there. What does it even mean? Why is it important? How do you actually do it? That's all of the things that we'll be covering in today's video. So the way I understand putting yourself out there is just being more in the face of people, be it at work, being more in the ears of people, you know, letting people know about you, letting people know what you stand for. And you can do it either physically through the spaces that you physically occupy, through the organizations that you're a part of, or even through social media, you know, the way that I am doing with this YouTube videos. So it is a matter of just being outside of your comfort zone, just letting people know about you, letting people know what you stand for, and letting your voice be heard and known. So how do you actually do that? How do you actually put yourself out there? For me, it comes down to two things. Number one, finding something that you're passionate about or something that you care about, that you want to speak about. And secondly, sharing it with the world. It's as simple as that. Finding something that you're passionate about and sharing it with the world through social media, like I am doing with these YouTube channels. You could be writing tweets about it. You could be posting on LinkedIn about it. You could start a podcast about it. But it's finding something that you're passionate about or something that you care about and sharing it with whoever cares to listen. And I just want to dial it back, right? And look at the finding something that you're passionate about. If you don't have something that you want to be known for, something that you want to contribute to, then how do you put yourself out there? What do you say, you know? So I guess that's the most important thing, saying, I want my professional brand to be like this, or I want my personal brand to be known like this. You sort of have to be intentional with what it is that you're trying to put out there and the reason for wanting to do that. If you guys have been watching my videos for a long time, and even in this specific video, in the intro, you would have heard that I said I speak all things properties because I'm a property finance specialist. I speak all things business because to understand property and where the future of any piece of property that you're looking at lies in understanding the underlying business. I'm also a CA, so I understand the business world. I speak about careers because I really want to share tips like I'm doing today to help you guys, some of you guys rather, who are still navigating or still starting out in their careers or even in varsities. I want to sort of give you guys the lay of the land, if you call it that, right, on how you can approach that. And then I also speak about general life things, and I also don't do a lot of that because there's not really much for my professional life that I want to share or put out there. I've already alluded to some of the ways that you can share it with the world. You can tweet about it, you can put it on LinkedIn, you can start a YouTube channel and share it here on YouTube. You can also start a podcast and speak about it on a podcast, but also you can just speak about the people that are important, people that you want to put yourself out there to. So if it's in a professional, say, space, it's probably your line manager or your boss's boss, things like that, right? The people that are important to what you're trying to achieve. And you know, you speak about yourself to that audience. You put yourself out there, even if it's to, I don't know, 100 people versus 1,000 that you could potentially reach on social media. Now, the main focus of this video is also essentially to share with you guys how to do that. I mean, I've already said you can tweet, but it's not easy to just be vulnerable and share your thoughts and share your ideas, especially when they can be criticized by many people. I want to touch on a few things that I believe are key. The first thing is to really separate yourself from what it is that you're doing. And this doesn't sound like it makes sense, especially because you are the one doing that you're doing. But this whole idea of looking at yourself and looking at your thoughts as a separate thing, looking at yourself and looking at your ideas as a separate thing, just creating that detachment from who you are as a person your value as a person from the things that you achieve. So if I am not too worried about my words potentially being wrong, then I'm not necessarily that's not going to stop me from putting myself out there. But if I'm overly concerned about how I come across to people, then that could have the negative impact. And as I'm saying this, I feel like I should clarify in that you are still concerned about your brand. You are still invested in your brand, but you don't let the thought or the fear of being imperfect, the fear of saying the wrong things get in the way of you and building that brand, right? It's not about not being careful. It's not about not paying attention to detail, not paying attention to what you say. It's just distancing, creating that distance between yourself and the work that you put out there. For example, I could never be a YouTube video. My whole self could never be a 5-minute video or a 10-minute video. There's just so much more to me that if this one video flops, doesn't mean that my whole entire being has flopped, right? So create that separation between who you are and the things that you share, the things that you choose to share with the world or with your colleagues or whatever it is, in whatever manner that you decide to share. The second thing that I want to touch on is just being comfortable with work in progress. And what I mean with that, there's this book that I haven't read yet, and many people speak very nice things about it. The book is called Show Your Work, and my understanding of it is that, and I will read it, I actually have to read it, I've been meaning to read it. It's the idea that you show progress, right? It doesn't have to be the perfect picture. It doesn't have to be, 10 out of 10 in terms of what it is, or basically what you know in your world, what you know in your mind you could be, right? So be comfortable with sharing things as you are making them. Be comfortable with sharing things that actually ended up in failure. Again, going back to the concept of separating yourself from the things that you do. If you did something, a video that didn't perform well, or if you started a business that didn't perform well, if you changed careers, if you realized that this wasn't serving you and you moved, all of those things you should be comfortable with potentially changing your mind, potentially sharing things that don't work out at the end, because even in those things that don't work out in the end lies lessons. And I think this leads us nicely to the next point, number 3, which is don't be too concerned with perfection. Don't be concerned with it must be a 10 out of 10 that I just mentioned for you to put it out there. Your ideas don't have to be fully fledged, right? 75% is a distinction. Sometimes that's what you should be aiming for. And again, I'm not saying be sloppy, but at the end of the day, don't let perfection be a form of procrastination, right? Don't let perfection be the reason that you don't put something out. Don't let perfection be the reason that you don't pursue certain opportunities because you're not perfect yet. And then the last point that I want to make when it comes to just putting yourself out there is learn a little bit into vulnerability. Share personal stories, obviously, that are appropriate for the context or whatever it is that you're speaking about. But you'd be surprised. I feel like we, especially as professionals, we want to sort of come across as knowing it all. We want to come across as professional. We've actually sort of taken professional to mean I am a robot. I don't feel any pain. I don't have personal things going on in my life. I don't feel like a failure sometimes. I don't doubt what I do sometimes. I don't feel like I'm not a good enough parent. But sometimes, we all doubt ourselves. Sometimes we all have those feelings of insecurity. I actually would think, I'd be worried about a person who doesn't doubt themselves from time to time. I'd be worried about a person who thinks they're perfect, a person who thinks they know it all, a person who thinks they've got an answer for every single thing. I don't know, I wouldn't trust that person. So lean into vulnerability, lean into it and embrace it, right? And obviously not saying overshare, but you'd be surprised how relatable some of the experiences that you're living through are. How actually by sharing it or choosing to frame things a certain way, you're helping other people who may be going through the same thing and not knowing just how normal what they're going through is. And that's really it, you guys. There's no secret to putting yourself out there and just being open to opportunities that come as a result of you putting yourself out there. You find something that you're passionate about and then you tell the world about it. You let go of feelings of wanting to be perfect. You let go of wanting everything to make sense, wanting to be an expert in whatever it is that you want to share, wanting things to be 100%. They never will be 100%. There's always going to be ways to improve something, ways to make something better. So let go of that idea, right? And just go fully for it and see how the world receives it. See just how much is returned to you as you give and share yourself with others. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section what you want to be known for, and let's get the conversation started. Until next time, bye.